I gave up on myself for many years. And I didn't know how to put that into words for a long time. Maybe I didn't even realize I gave up on myself until recently. And we begin to accept that maybe a certain part of our lives is over. I listened to a lot of people for a long time, and I preoccupied myself taking care of others. It's what I did. It's what I was good at. It's what I did my whole life. I was tired. I was achy. I looked at myself in the mirror and didn't recognize myself and started to get Botox and lip filler. And all of a sudden, I just didn't recognize the woman in the mirror. And there were days I looked at myself and I just felt, this is it. Accept it. 10 years ago, people weren't talking about HRT. And as far as anybody talking about it, it was said to be dangerous. And you don't want to do that. It will increase your risks of breast cancer. And that was based off of a study long ago, but word travels fast when that comes into play. And doctors latch onto that, women latch onto that. And I didn't know anybody that was taking HRT, so it wasn't a consideration in my life. And one day, I don't know if it was one in particular day, but I do know that I was tired of being tired. I had given up on myself. I didn't want to go out and do things. I had no libido at all, and intimacy was painful. And I didn't think I could ever find my way back to the woman I once was because my body has changed. I was tired of having heart palpitations. I was tired of anxiety. I was tired of the pain in my shoulder and neck. I was tired of the aches and pains in my body, and I was tired of not having the energy that life deserves. I was tired of not having desire. I was tired of not having the excitement. I just didn't feel good about anything, about my body, about my mind. My mind was slipping. I was forgetting things. I was really foggy. And I just didn't care about much. And I started to not recognize the person I had become. And I had given up because I didn't think there was hope. And again, as I said, I started to hear more and more about HRT, and I started to listen. And I started to learn. And then I started to see that a few people that I knew were on it. And I could tell by looking at them that they were fitter, they had more energy, and they weren't feeling like I was feeling. And so I white-knuckled perimenopause and menopause. And I was in menopause for roughly 8 years when I finally decided enough is enough, and decided I deserved the effort. I deserved to advocate for myself. And I reached out and got help. And it took a while for it to work, but I did notice minor things changing. It wasn't like all of a sudden I was like back, right? That would be great. But it took time, and it took managing my levels, and it took finally, after a year of estrogen and progesterone, I finally decided maybe I need testosterone because I felt pretty good. but I knew something was missing. I had zero libido, and I wanted to have that back. And I don't know if that was the missing piece. I don't know if it was the last year and a half where I made the choice to claim my life back. I made a lot of changes over the last year and a half. I closed down my business, for one, and I stopped focusing on everybody else's well-being and started focusing on mine. And because my business kept me so focused on everybody else's well-being, it kept me preoccupied for 15 years. I decided it was time for me to claim my life back and focus on me. And that entailed closing my business, making sure that I was taking care of myself in ways that I denied myself, going on HRT, all three, and making the effort to lose that 50 pounds, which I did. It was good. And the HRT, I can tell you, finally, when I got the testosterone levels right, and I got the progesterone levels right, so I was sleeping really good at night, everything clicked in. And over this past 7 months in particular, I've been really focused on me. And at 55, after a lifetime of work, I started working when I was 16 years old. After a lifetime of taking care of family, even before I had my own kids and before grandchildren, I was always taking care of somebody, but never myself. And I enjoyed that. It filled my heart. But over the last 7 months, I convinced myself, I told myself, you are not selfish for wanting to feel good. You are not selfish for wanting to claim your own time. You are not selfish to want to feel joy and enjoy your life. And so that's a part of it too. But what happened? What happened on the other side of all this? I didn't think I could ever get back, because this is different than it ever was. See, as a young woman in my 20s, going to the gym 5 days a week and lifting heavy weights and just being a young woman in a world that tells you to be different than you are, be better than you are, be prettier than you are, and smile and be accommodating while you're doing it. No, this isn't her. And this isn't the 35-year-old that was busting her ass, working, raising kids, trying to find a minute in the day for herself. This isn't the 45-year-old woman who was in perimenopause and didn't even know it, didn't understand it, thought she was having some problems mentally because the anxiety and was so intense in perimenopause. But the point of this video is that journey brought me here, to this moment, to this point in my life where at 55, I feel a desire and a zest for life that I've never felt before. And that doesn't mean I'm going out on some big adventures and I want to travel the world. I'm an introvert. I want to be home. I want to be home with my family, enjoying life quietly in ways that I never allowed myself before in the chaos of my younger years. I gave up on this person. I thought she was never coming back In fact, I didn't know who she was until she arrived. This woman that can feel desire in new ways. This woman who looks at herself in the mirror and loves it all and doesn't want to change a goddamn thing. This woman that at 55, with no worries about becoming pregnant, has experienced a new freedom that I didn't experience before. And those hormones made intimacy far less painful, in fact, enjoyable again. And this confidence in myself, this desire, this little sway in my hip and sparkle in my eye, she didn't exist in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. That woman, those women, were always a little insecure and worried about what everybody else thought and what everybody else wanted. And the pretty girls in the magazines and in the movies. And what media told her she should be and do and look like. And this 55-year-old woman, nope, nope. You can't tell me that the dimples in my butt aren't cute, because they are. And that softness in my body that I hated in my youth and I starved myself to get rid of and spent 5 days or more in the gym lifting heavy weights so that I could get ripped and shredded. And I know it's a thing, women lifting heavy weights right now, but I've been doing that my whole life. Now's my time to soften. I've got plenty of muscle. For me, and I'm not advising anybody else to do anything, but I'm saying for me, I'm good the way I am. I'm strong and soft. I'm smart and sexy. And for the first time in a long time, because I've got that energy back, because I got that sway in my hip and the sparkle in my eye, my husband and I stayed up very late a few nights ago. Now, you're looking at a woman that typically was falling asleep at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I am an early riser. I like to wake up between 4 and 5. And I do my little meditations and my quiet time. And the other night, he and I, on a beautiful summer's evening, sat out in the backyard, the bottle of wine, and we chatted and laughed. We had music playing, we joked, we teased each other, and we had fun. We flirted. And we haven't done that since we were in our 20s. We stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning, laughing, dancing, drinking wine. It's amazing. After 28 years, we're like coming back together in ways that I'd given up on. I thought, that's something of youth, something you do in your 20s. Well, here we are in our 50s, having fun again. My husband said it to me the other day, grabbed me as I was walking by. He said, I got to tell you something. At one time, I think he remembered saying it to me. At one time, I wasn't sure about the gray hair. But I got to tell you, now I think it's so goddamn hot. I think it's so sexy. I love it. And that's him reflecting back to me what I'm projecting out. That confidence that I am who I am, and whether my hair's in a messy bun, whether it's gray and I got dimples in my bum, I got soft back of my arms, I got cushion, and I've got curves. And I'm not that skinny mini person that was living off a chicken breast and water and pumping iron and ripped and hungry. Now, now I walk around the house naked. I look at my husband, he knows. I got that pep back, girl. And I didn't think I was ever going to see this woman. I didn't even know this woman, and here she is, and I love her. And so I say this because for a year on HRT, I was on just estrogen and progesterone, and I was expecting my libido to come back like that because it worked for others. It didn't for me. I needed more. But I needed more than just testosterone. I needed time for myself. I needed to say yes to me in ways that I'd never said yes to me before. And now I'm saying yes to a lot more. And I'm happy, healthy, and the future is wide open. And I'm open to receive all the fun. I'm open with excitement and desire and energy and lots of afternoon naps, if you know what I mean. There's something to this phase in my life. I used to hear, you know, not from anybody I personally know, but I used to hear like a woman in her 50s. That sex drive is incredible. Well, I'd have to agree because I'm not worried about anything anymore. And I can just have fun. And I'm having fun again. And if you're out there and you've given up a part of yourself and you said, oh, that's for younger people. Oh, that's what I used to be like. Don't close the doors. Don't give up hope. But it's more than just taking HRT, and it's more than just losing weight, and it's more than changing your schedule, and it's everything. And it all comes down to this: deciding, choosing yourself and putting yourself on the top of your list every day and saying, I choose me, and this is what I'm going to do with this time because today's what we've got, right? And there's something to turning up the music, dancing around the house, taking your clothes off and walking around naked because you can, and not worrying about it. Because all these jiggly bits and these soft curves, they're pretty damn sexy. I look in the mirror and I see these lines. I see discoloration. I see my lips. I see my neck. I see my soft body. And I'm good with it. Very good with it. I'm saying when we choose to love ourselves and we make that a priority, maybe we can choose to just love ourselves as we are. Gray hair, wrinkles, and cellulite and all. Like I said, my husband and I just celebrated 28 years of marriage. And that's it. He's my benchmark. When he looks at me, I know I'm good. When I look at him, he knows he's good. Ah, I don't know what else to say other than just don't give up. Because I did for a really long time. I didn't go on hormones or anything, seek any help until I was in menopause for 8 years. And considering I was in menopause and I had zero estrogen, zero testosterone, I'm doing pretty good now. And I'll never give it up. Nope, never. because my life right now is getting better and better every single day. And I know it's not for everybody, but I know women aren't talking about it. There's data out there, but there's not enough stories. What, if anything, changes and what to expect. And for me, I was scared. I didn't know enough. I didn't know enough people. I knew the data was out there, but data is data. I wanted to know what women experienced. And then I realized it's different for everyone. The little bit I heard was progesterone and estrogen are fine. That's all you need, and va-va-voom. No, not for me. So advocate for yourself. Maybe you don't need the hormones. Lucky you. But we all need something, whether it's hormones for me and weight loss and choosing and deciding and stepping forward and saying enough is enough. Maybe for you it's something else. Whatever it is, step into yourself. And maybe, like me, you might meet a version of yourself that you never knew before. And maybe she's smarter, wiser, and much funner than you ever imagined. If you have any questions, of course, put them in the comments, but I'd like to know, what is your version of you? What have you found? What have you done? Or what do you want to do? I think the more women talk about this stuff, the better, because it becomes less scary. It becomes more approachable. It becomes inspiring. I think if every woman in the world stepped into herself wholeheartedly, courageously, and said yes to her own happiness, yes to her own desire and pleasure and joy, yes to the possibilities, yes to advocating for herself, can you imagine what the world would be like? Lots of powerful, courageous, happy, smart women full of joy. Oof. So let's reach for that. Let's strive for that. And let's do it together. And as Ram Dass is famously quoted as saying, we're all children walking each other home. And this is just me trying to hold your hand and walk you home to yourself in some way, shape, or form. By sharing my experience, I hope maybe you see yourself in me, because I see myself in a lot of women. And we're all here just to help each other out and walk each other home. So with that, I bid you farewell until next week. Leave me a comment and share this video if you think it could help somebody, because maybe it could.